Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Dadas Show, coming to you from the newly refurbished Manzoni 680 Hotel here in Nairobi's CBD. I'm your host, Ashiko Mbune. Now, as our name suggests, the Dadas Show aspires to promote the spirit of sisterhood and solidarity amongst Kenyan women. And we do this by creating an open and safe platform for women to discuss issues pertaining to their health and lifestyle, their families, their careers, and anything that affects them in one way or another. We also take an opportunity to acknowledge and celebrate formidable women who are doing big things for not only for themselves but for their surrounding and for the Kenyan women folk. Happy Mother's Day. As always, we are celebrating the heart of our families, our mothers. On this episode of Dadas Show, we are bringing you a special moment with three incredible women from the same family: the grandmother, the mother, and the daughter. Together, they represent love carried down, wisdom shared, and an unbreakable bond that only gets stronger with every generation. This is their journey. Today, they will regale us with stories of childhood and motherhood, life lessons, and of course, legacy. This is their journey. So if possible, call up your grandmother, your mother, your daughter, and let them tune in as we step into their world and celebrate motherhood across the ages. As always, we welcome you at home to take part in this and any other conversation that we may have on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. You can also reach us at Facebook, on Facebook at Dadas Show KBC. If you want to reach me personally, you can reach me on Ashiko the host across all social media platforms. Before we carry on with our Mother's Day celebration, let's take a look at the following feature.
All mothers are women, but not all women are mothers. Being a mother is a very important role that is given to many women. Mothers have a unique and crucial role in the lives of their children. They are used to bring you into this life because you have a specific purpose to fulfill. There are a number of aspects of motherhood according to the Bible and Quran, such as conception, pregnancy, the pain of childbirth, nursing, nurturing, teaching, training, and modeling with integrity. We are given three types of mothers. The adoptive mother as Pharaoh's daughter. Pharaoh's daughter played a major role in Moses' life by preserving his destiny. Her adoption of him gave him 40 years of protection and the world's best training any child could ever hope to attain. Mothers who adopt are no less mothers. They participate in further development of someone else's child. Mothers who eat their children are mothers who sacrifice their children for their sustenance, wealth, happiness, cultural relevance, among other selfish attributes. Unlike the two mothers in the Holy Book who ate their children, these mothers are not necessarily killing their children physically, rather they are sacrificing their children for their own benefits. As a result, their children are being swallowed up in demonic system in the world. The Jochebed is a mother who gave birth to streams of leaders. Jochebed is the mother of Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, who were significant in the journey of Israel to their promised land. Jochebed is a birthing system that produces the deliverer Moses, the priest Aaron, and the prophetess Miriam. Additionally, God uses Jochebed to preserve a child who was a deliverer by building an ark. These are mothers who fight to build structure to preserve generations. Although the Holy Book does not prescribe a specific day like Mother's Day, it clearly supports the values of love, honor, and gratitude towards mothers. On this Mother's Day, remember that the greatest profession in all creation is that of a mother. For Dadas Show, my name is Miriam Odanga.
Welcome back and happy Mother's Day to you. As mentioned today, we are joined by some very incredible women from the same family. And of course, joining us right next to me is the matriarch, Grandma Shosh. I don't know what she goes by, but her official documented name is Jane Rushiami. Welcome so much, Mom, for making it today.
Thank you.
Your busy schedule, you've come here so that we can celebrate, and happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam. Right next, we have Celia Kathambi, who is the doctor and the mother, and I'm sure to Nadia, bro. Welcome, Celia. Karibu sana. Thank you so much for making time to sit with us. And finally, we've got Miss Nadia Kiwinda, who is the daughter, granddaughter, princess, TikTok influencer, the whole shebang. Of course, I also want to acknowledge my wonderful audience with me here in studio. We are blessed to have the rest of the family. So Celia is not an only child. And then we've got grandchildren in the audience. We've got brothers. We are really, really blessed. And of course, the rest of our wonderful audience. And you at home, happy Mother's Day to you. I hope you're celebrating the women in your life who have made an impact of who you are in your life till this very moment. So to start us off, you know, African tradition, especially for Akina Gen Z, Akina Nadia, you know, African tradition, I am not allowed to call you by your name. I cannot call you Jane, you know, and it's tradition. Any woman who's your mother's age, you know, you have to refer to her as Mama so-and-so. So today, for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to call you Mama Celia. And mostly because my mother is also watching this show. Nastaki kugombanishwa. So to start us off, I'll start off with you, Mama Celia. What does motherhood mean to you?
Yeah, motherhood to me is a journey of joy, a journey of learning, a journey of, you know, nurturing children and making them be what they are today, because all my children are grown up, and even my grandchild, I participate in bringing up, and that is really pure joy. Motherhood is like a big school where there is no syllabus.
Oh, wow.
You keep learning with every child, especially if you have more than one child. You realize that you don't have a syllabus to bring them up. In the same way, you keep on changing according to the character that you have with the children. So that is, to me, motherhood is a joy and a learning experience.
You have or had a very strong matriarchal presence in your home. You're constantly always trying to ape. You know, so you want to be your mother. And I love what you said, Mama Celia. There's no syllabus. So if it worked for you, you know, and Celia goes and applies the same logic, it may not work for her. Speaking of which, Celia, what does motherhood mean to you?
First of all, I think I am where I am because I'm a mom.
Yes.
When I wake up every day, the first thing in the morning is I'm trying to figure out how to ensure my daughter, she's an only child, I'm giving her my best.
Yes.
So for me, motherhood is the reason I am.
Yeah.
Every minute of the day, the decisions I make, I have Nadia in mind. And every day I ask myself, am I doing the right thing by my daughter? I want her to look at me and aspire. I inspire her. Yeah, so just like my mom, it's a journey.
Yes.
It has its ups and downs. Motherhood is the best hood. It's joy, but it can also be pain,
Yes.
heartache, having moments with your teenagers. In fact, there's a time I had to go to my mom and ask her, was I like this when I was a teenager?
And then you profusely apologize. You said,
Then I say, I'm so sorry
I'm
if
I
I'm
used to
so
be
sorry
like that.
if I was like this. But you see, we learn from each other as well.
course,
Yeah. So motherhood is also a lot of growth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think if you're somebody different as a
Yeah.
mom, but it's the most beautiful journey,
Oh, wow.
I would say. Yeah.
I love that. So motherhood is purpose, you know, and I know that very many mothers can share that with you. We wake up in the morning, yes, we say we are not one thing, you know, I'm not just a mother, I'm a worker, I'm this, I'm a presenter, I'm what, but I know very core to my plans, very core to my vision, very core to my goals, there lies a child. There's a child, there's my son. So whatever plans I'm making, whether they involve him, whether they don't involve him, he is definitely in the back of my mind, like, well, how will this impact our relationship? So thank you so much. Now, Nadia, you know, you have your mother, you have your grandmother, very strong personalities here. You know, very strong personalities. What's something that you've learned about motherhood, you know, just by watching them? Actually, let's not even say about motherhood, even about womanhood. Just by watching your mother and your grandmother?
I've learned that balance is very important. Like when you're balancing life with your family, with your friends, with work, it's very important for your mental health to continue on every day. Yeah, and also sharing. It's important to express yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, it's important to express yourself to the people you love.
If you're learning this at a very tender age, then that's definitely, then kudos to mom, kudos to grandmother. So I want to move on to you, Mama Celia. You know, tell us what motherhood was like when you were raising your children, and what were some of the biggest challenges? You know, say motherhood has become very fluid. So what is it like, what was it like back then, and what were some of the challenges?
What I can say that by the time I was raising my children, the good thing is that those days we didn't have the influence of media as we have today. So that when you tell your children this is the way things should be, although we had the black and white TV, even the plays that were played there, they kind of reflected the lives we had those days. Not like the life we have today, which is a mixture of the Western, with very little of what we went through. And basically during our time, I came from the village. And I had a very strong mother because I grew up under a mother without a father who was very strong. I was trying to be strong like my mother, and to be, my mother was a disciplinarian. I used to make sure that even if I don't beat my children the way my mother used to beat us, I would find a middle ground. Luckily, I've gone through school, I've done psychology.
Oh, wow.
So I would apply both. But I'll not lie to you that they were not challenges. Especially when children reach the
teenage,
like it is
where
you say,
Nadia is right now,
you find a teenager coming to tell you, you know, my friends are doing this, and I want to do it, and I'm not asking for permission. So I am reporting to you.
I'm not asking.
I'm not asking.
Telling.
I am just informing you. I am on my way with my friends. So you are left wondering, where are they going? What do I expect from that? So you are left worried, annoyed because the child has been rude to you. But then you have to find, you realize, because like with my psychology, I knew this is teenage. So you have to find a middle ground where you learn to negotiate, at the same time discipline. But the challenges were there. Sometimes they want things you don't have. And they throw tantrums. What do you do? You have to look also for how to, balance. There is a feeling of children that parents don't lack. So to say you don't have, it's not a language they don't understand. Like one would tell me, I've seen mothers going to the ATM, why can't you go there and get money for us? Or they tell you, so and so has money to do this and this, how come you don't have? So
and moms, you go to work.
Yes, you go to work. You go to work every day. What happens to your money?
You don't have money. What happens to your money?
Yeah, so you feel frustrated, but at the same time, you have to understand and know the best way to approach.
Yes.
Yeah, because you want the best for them.
Yeah.
Even when you get upset, you really look for a middle ground to make sure that you come to a compromise. You know, there are times that you have to compromise with your children. Like your generation, I find that there is more of competition than there is that mother who was brought very strong, and you want to use the same with this generation. It won't work. It won't work because they have seen it in the TVs. Mommy, you can't touch me. You can't touch me because I can even take. There is a rule that is saying that we children should not be punished. They know their rights.
Oh yeah.
So
millennial parents, we have it. We have it.
Fortunately,
rough, yeah.
we didn't have that. So my time there was much joy and a lot of challenges, but we managed in our own small way.
Oh wow.
To go through.
Thank you so much. I like what you started off by saying, you know, there was no influence of the media. And as parents nowadays, especially mothers, we know how the media, you know, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You decide to close off, or no social media, no what, you know, you're denying your child the exposure that they most probably necessarily need to thrive. But at the same time, what are the limits? You're constantly having to go through somebody's Facebook. We've become stalkers. You know, what are we doing to somebody's Facebook, looking at what is Nadia talking about, what is Nadia doing, who is she talking to? It's a lot, but definitely, you know, those are definitely some of the challenges that we have faced as, you know, as millennial parents, you know. Okay, so now moving on to you, Mama has already talked to us about what are the challenges that she experienced. Now, tell us, you know, what your experience in motherhood, how your experience in motherhood has differed from your mother's, and what's one tradition you have kept and one that you have said, what are you Elisha?
First, I want to appreciate my mom. This lady here, I think she's the only one I know with so much wisdom. You see, the way she's talked about media, you know, what the parent says or what have you. I have a I have a memory that never leaves me.
Yeah.
So my mom is a disciplinarian, but in a very interesting fashion. She was not traditionally take the whip and flog us, but she knew, the psychologist in her knew how to work you, and you do as you're supposed to. We used to live in Parklands, I remember, back in the day, and remember those guys for Mare Kwa Mare? They used to beba nini.
Yeah.
So you've gone out, you've chezaed for long. Old lady has said you have to be in the house at first due to kunywa maziwa. We are thinking that's a boring routine.
Yes.
So my mom, in her wisdom, instead of coming and beating us in front of parents, and she timed and knew those guys Peter what time.
Yeah.
She used to tell me, do you know what those guys are carrying? I'm like, what are they carrying? They're carrying children who are late, who are not coming. Aki, I used to see Mare Kwa Mare guys. I take off, I go.
And I'm sure the Mare Kwa Mare guys used to come at 4.
They used to come at 4, and I see them. I still have kidogo trauma because I'm like, clearly there are not babies in there. I went back to her years later and told her, why did you tell me? I said, how else are you going to listen? You know what I mean? So that
brilliant.
doesn't work with Ati. I'm telling Nadia Sijui what? She has more information. In fact, these days in the house, I'm the one being shown stuff. Mom, like, you know, don't be slow.
Yeah.
Me and something is not working, I wait for Nadia because me, I can be a bit impatient. Like, I move on if something is not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But another thing, I want to acknowledge my mom in her wisdom.
Yeah.
One of the things she instilled in us, and that's why she was talking about, you going to report yourself. She was very liberal, very firm. But there's one thing she always told us, and I've tried, and I've kept that tradition with Nadia.
Yes.
Always speak the truth. If we are going to Akina Nani's house, it's a party for just, so my mom entrusted us so much that it was difficult to be sneaky.
Yeah.
You go report, you say, they say, good. And I think I passed on the same to Nadia, and I think she'll tell you. One day I had her telling her pals when she was in the house, they broke something and they tried to hide it.
Yeah.
She said, if you tell my mom the truth, she'll forgive you. But if she finds it, there'll be a problem.
Yeah.
And when I walked in, it was the first thing. Mama Nadia, we have broken this and this. What differs? Back to social media. I also want to appreciate my daughter in as much as I talk about preteen. I was blessed with a good child.
Yes.
I'll not lie. Nadia she's a very obedient, self-aware. She's diplomatic more than I am. She knows what to say, when to say, how to say it. We have a friendship like I did with my mom. And now the three of us, we hang, we talk about everything and anything.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so I build a friendship with my child.
Yes.
And because she's so exposed and I don't know up to what point I can teach or not teach her, we have conversations instead. And she'll be open with me and come and tell me, yeah, our age mates, guys are doing this. I'll have a bit of a heart attack.
A knot in your stomach.
I'll have a heart attack, but I'll look brave. And we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, I'll tell her, you know what's right and what's wrong. And when you make this kind of decision, what the repercussions are. She's like, yeah, mama.
What are some of the things that you'll say, hiyo nimesema na mama usimkasirikie. Ile umesema mimi hapana, mimi sitafanya hiyo kwa boma yangu. What are some of the things that, some of the traditions or something that mom did maybe in the process of raising you guys that you've decided, okay, perhaps that one has passed its time?
The first thing that has come top of my mind is we always used to eat at the dinner table at a certain time. What? Hasn't passed.
That one has not been passed.
That one.
Mtu anakula pale yuko.
Yeah, you serve and you kula bedroom. And to date, my old man is very old. Sorry for bringing it. My mom, both of them were no eating in the bedroom. No, there were certain things that you could not do in the bedroom. It had to be in the living room or the dining room.
So thank you so much, Mama Nadia, for that. So if you're to describe your mother, Nadia, what are the two names or words you can describe mom and grandma? You want two. You have two of each. No, one.
I have
just
one
of
actually.
Each. And you have to give me an explanation as to why you're first. So when you think of grandma, what's the first name that comes to mind? What's the first word that comes to mind?
Strong.
Strong, lovely.
Yeah, because there can be so much happening around, but you won't feel the fear coming from her. Like you won't feel scared because she's also scared.
Yes.
You won't see it. Like she's strong. She will calm you down during bad times and give advice, the right advice to the right person.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, yeah.
Okay.
And I feel the same about my mom, actually.
Yeah.
Because, a lot can be happening at a particular time. She'll probably hide what she's feeling, maybe express it later by herself. But around other people, she'll be strong for them. Yeah.
I think it's beautiful if you're teaching strength, if you're passing on strength, and they're saying, you know what, I love what you said about your grandmother. She's a calming presence. She gives you, and I think that is the epitome of a matriarch. And now I go back to Mama Celia. What do you hope that your daughter, we'll start off with your daughter and then your granddaughter, what do you hope that they will always remember, always carry with them in their journey through life?
One of the things I didn't mention before, I've taught them to be kind to those around them, especially if they find people who are less endowed than they are. To be kind, to be humble, and if there is a need, to give a hand when and where you can. And also to be strong, even in the midst of storms. Of course, the storms will come in life. Yes. But I've taught them that, like the saying goes, nothing stays forever. And at the same time, learn to love yourself and pray for better things so that you can move from where you are to where you are going. Because I'm where I am. They still have a very long way to go? Do you want to remain there? Do you want to progress? How do you do it? It is for you to decide for yourself, because nobody will come and teach you how to progress. It is upon you. And above all, I believe in putting God first. Yeah. I've put the fear of the divine. I don't necessarily say you should be a Christian. I say whatever divine being you believe in, believe very strongly. Come back to that when you feel, as human, you are kind of reached the limit. Like you say, God help me. Because with this, I can't do it with myself. Believe in that God that you worship.
Celia, what would you hope that your daughter would remember or would carry on, remember from you as she carries on? She's a young lady now. She carry on pursuing career, maybe family, what would you want her to always remember as she carries?
My everyday, even my job, I do a lot of social impact work, is that you've never really lived, I love this quote, unless you've helped someone who cannot repay you back.
Oh, wow.
So I think it's past. There are things that are revealing here that I did not realize, because my mom is the same.
Yeah.
She's a low-key humanitarian, down to the watchman, Sometimes she doesn't take change, because like this person who's worked the whole day is better than the young man who'll wait for you to rob from you. So that helping, the ones who are, and I've had my mom say, and I'm like, oh my God, like that's what I'd want Nadia, the less fortunate anyone who is, that's what really living is. It's not big cars, it's not big titles, it's what you do for the people who cannot repay you back in this lifetime at least.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's one of them. The other one I would like Nadia to continue in life if I'm not there is that she always knows that she's enough.
Yeah.
And to remain her authentic self. There's nothing special about trying to be perfect.
Perfectionism is very boring, actually.
Yeah, in fact, perfection is very boring.
It's very boring.
Be happy with yourself and always be real, and always know you're enough. Never let anybody think that you're not enough. You're enough. In whatever stage in life you are, you're enough. And continue being yourself. Don't strive for perfectionism.
As parents, as mothers this Mother's Day, kindly affirm your daughters, your sons, that they're enough. Because they're a piece to a puzzle without which the puzzle is incomplete. So look at them with their uniqueness, with their strengths, and celebrate that. Because Nadia haikuwa Kiki. My son is called Kiki. But you can't compare two people who will never be the same. So what kind of mother, Nadia, if you do want to become a mother, would you want to be one day? And what will you carry forward from your mother and your grandmother?
First of all, I definitely want to be a mother. Yay! Yes. What do I want to take from my mom? Trust. I want to be able to bring up my children with trust. When I wake up in the morning, they tell me something, I believe them because they wouldn't have reason to lie to me. Why would they lie to their mother? Like, we're best friends.
It doesn't make sense.
We are best friends. I'm best friends with my mom. Why would I want to lie to her? No, it's like there's no reason to lie to your mother. Yeah. And from my grandma, I'd like to take love.
Yeah.
My grandmother is one of the most loving people I've ever seen, even to people she doesn't know.
You have raised an incredible young lady. I have been partisan to that, so I'm not even talking about someone who I've not known. I've seen her since she was a very small girl. So on that note, we are going to take a short break, and then we'll be back for the question and answer session. So if you're just joining us, happy Mother's Day. Welcome back to Dadas Show. If you're just joining us, happy Mother's Day. This is a Mother's Day special coming to you from the newly refurbished Manzoni 680 Hotel here in Nairobi's CBD. So to get the ball rolling with this question and answer session, I love this session because it's an opportunity for my wonderful audience to give us their comments, their questions, feedback on what we are discussing today. So to start us off, we've got Mr. Tosh. Tosh, karibu sana.
I'm happy to be here today. I am actually a product of the matriarch being interviewed today, and mine is more of a comment more than a question. Of course, being Mother's Day, I really have to acknowledge that it was nice hearing my mom and Celia talking about motherhood. I have to say we were very lucky. Celia agrees. We had a mother who was very nurturing, very liberal. Our mother took us to our first concert, and she dropped us and picked us. We were curious, and this is something like even our peers were like, what? Your mom took you to a concert? So that's who she's been. She's been liberal, she's let us be ourselves, and I can see my mom's mothering through Celia.
Happy Mother's Day to everyone.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Tosh, for even making time and for carrying, the next generation of the Rushiamis family. And thank you so much for your lovely wishes to your family. We really, truly don't take your presence for granted. Asanteni sana. We'll move on to our next question, comment, or feedback of the day. And this is from Alice.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. My question goes to Mama Syria. Now that you've told us you are not one to cane children, what was the mode of discipline in your house?
Children are very obedient the way you bring them up. If you're not caning your child, there is a way you can negotiate. I'm not talking about the pampering, the way I see this generation being done. You sit the child down and you tell him the good and bad about what you don't want that child to be. So when you are talking to this child, definitely the child will pick what the mother, the children have a lot of faith and trust in their mothers. They'll trust you in what you are trying to discourage them from doing. So negotiate. You'll find a child who, when you cane, they become very bitter. They don't, even me, I've never, like I used to say, I will never get married to a man who beats, because I don't understand how I'm beating will make me not do what you are trying to, what we cannot negotiate. How is a cane going to correct me? Let's talk, and we did agree. We agree to agree. With a child, you have to agree, and it should not be repeated. If it is repeated, pick the cane. Yes.
There was a point where the cane was being picked up, because I love that analogy, and I love the fact that you're saying I don't understand how a cane is going to change somebody's behavior and stuff like that. I believe it's the fear. It's the fear of getting a caning. I think whenever we knew that there's a curfew and you need to be home, and you know that Mama Helen is going to be at the gate waiting with the kid Kiboko, which is taller than her, you used to say, what a nekimbie. But of course, negotiating definitely worked better because it had a longer lasting impact. Thank you so much for that, Mama Celia. Our next question or comment for the day is from Monica.
Thank you very much, Ashiko, and your beautiful panelists. I'm so happy. This is a very engaging discussion today. And congratulations to mom, and the granddaughter. Yeah, as Ashiko has said, I'm a mother, and I have 3 beautiful girls and 1 son. I wanted to ask whether you and Nadia had that kind of thing, does she sometimes maybe ask you if they have relationship, or maybe ask for guidance for the same? Because it is something very crucial, as she is an aspiring mama in the future, and I wish her all the best. she made me laugh because my daughter was like, me, I don't want to, I'm afraid of getting married and I'm afraid of getting kids. And I was telling her, but I need a grandchild when the time is right. And she was like, I can adopt one. I was like, no. These are random conversations, but they mean a lot because you don't know what is going on in their mind and the fear they have with the Generation Z now. Their fear of getting married and even having kids. So do you have such kind of conversations? And I want to wish all of you Happy Mother's Day. Together with my mothers at home, I wish all of you Happy Mother's Day. Thank you.
I'll start with me and my mom. In as much as she was very liberal and wise and what the generational thing, and I think when it comes to boys, my mom is shy. We never used to talk about boys, even when I was dating. She just took care, she has Rurashio, and kumbe there was a guy who was, okay, I'm sure she knew. I'm sure she knew existed, but I kept that information, never talked about it at all. That I did different with Nadia, though. So yeah, we talk about the first time Nadia came home and said, Mom, I have a boyfriend. She was like 5, I almost fainted. Then it hit me, she didn't know what she's saying.
Yeah.
She was like in nursery or something. And we laughed about it at the time with the dad, and he said, relax. I think in her mind, a boyfriend is just a boy who's a friend. They become close. But they were really close. We're actually still friends with the mom. Fast forward now, teenage, ile ukweli. We talk about anything and everything around. Let's not sugarcoat. I take time, which is something my mom used to do as well. I take time to know my friends' friends. Even yesterday, she was going somewhere. She mentioned a name I don't know. I said, who is this? I've never heard of her before. She said, I don't talk about all my friends all the time when we're having our conversations. Then she told me, no, this one, she even sits behind me in class. I said, you need to give me her number and then
And the mother's
parent,
number.
yes, and the mother's number. So yeah, she told me of now as a teenager, and I know what she's talking about. My mom used to tell me, even when make or break, make some very serious wrong decisions or right decisions, you know? It's the age they feel they know more than you. It's the age they're experimenting on everything. Alcohol, boys, blood. So we talk about everything under the sun, including boyfriends.
Oh, wow.
So I think I answered your question.
Absolutely. I mean, definitely. You know, and I think that's very, very important because, of course, most of us, we didn't, like you're saying, talking about, you know, relations and stuff like that was almost taboo for the previous generation. It is very un-African, to be quite frank. But considering that it is still it is happening day in, day out, and the ages are getting younger, you understand? It is very important for you to have these conversations. We can no longer, as parents, carry on putting our hands, you know, our heads, you know, be the proverbial ostrich, isn't it? You put your head in the sand and keep on saying, not my child, not my child would not do this, my child would not this. It was very unfortunate to see a certain incident where a girl, you know, was in a party and unfortunately things got recorded, you know, sexual affairs got recorded, and unfortunately due to that kind of exposure, she killed herself. So this is something that is happening and it is very important. As you're talking to your girls, try and find out what is this that is scaring them away from marriage. Is it because of things they've seen on TV? Is it because of things they see even in your home? And you can get to the root cause because, listen, marriage does not necessarily define somebody. They can comfortably live as they are with their career, with their family. But it would be important to know why, you know, not because that there's anything wrong with not having children or getting married. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But what is advising this particular decision? So I think that is very crucial, and I appreciate the kind of relationship that you have with your daughter. We also talk about all of these things, and I know that one mistake that our parents made that we should not make, especially as millennials, is do not downplay most of the things that you brought. For me, if my son comes and tells me that he's in this relationship and it looks like it's, oh my God, you should see him talking to somebody until the middle of the night and he's there very excited. And you know for a fact that this is puppy love, this is not going to go far, this is just, but at that particular moment, parents, this is the most important thing to him. it's his world at that time. If you don't play it and say, "Uyo miaka 10 hata utamjua," since those 10 years are going to happen, inshallah, why don't you just let him wait and find out? Yeah? So if your daughter and your children come to you and they tell you, "I'm in a relationship where I like this boy," don't shut them down and say, wewe, focus na masomo. Learn to find out. Like Mom said, negotiate, have a conversation. This is a generation to be seen and heard. As we were to be seen and not heard, but we survived either way.
My mom,
So
sorry.
carrying on, let us move on. Thank you so much, Monica. That was a very, very important question. Let's move on to our other question of the day. That is from Victor. Victor, karibu sana.
First of all, I'd want to say that Mama Celia and Celia, you've done a really good job. And to all the mothers at home as well, under, very different and challenging circumstances. My question would be to Mama Celia and Celia, because Nadia said she wants to be a mother when she grows up. So, as we all know, there are some parts of society that have gotten better and some have gotten worse. I think our values have gotten worse over the years. So what would you advise someone who's at home and who's struggling with either their teenage child or their child in terms of raising them in a society that is continuously getting morally decadent? That's my question.
The society which we lived in, and even partially which you lived in, there was a lot of cooperation between, say, even uncles, even your neighbors, the teachers, the people across the board. If, say, for example, where we lived, I would listen to somebody coming to tell me, "I found Syria doing this. I think you should." But you see, like today, the society has also become hostile, indifferent, I don't know, all sorts of negativity. I find it completely scary because everywhere I look, it's like people have become wicked. The society can no longer be trusted. But all is not lost. If you have got good relatives, if you have got good neighbors, if you have got good friends, you can trust a friend, a neighbor, uncle to give you advice on 1, 2, 3, 4 on how you would want your family to be. Because there is always good people somewhere. We don't have rotten eggs everywhere. We still have some angels among us. So that is all I can say, because things have really been distorted. I don't know. I think we have become individualistic. I want to do things my way, so don't show me how you are doing your thing.
Yeah.
So don't bring me your rules to my house. So young man, that is what I can say. Look for a good, if there are some good apples, use them. But refrain, we have a lot of not so trusted people in the society.
I look at it more like society will always be there. The direction in which we're going is there's more and more exposure. The world has become a global village. So the trust thing is deliberate because, as Nadia said, the first thing is to have that trust relationship with your child so that they can be able to come to you for advice or to make those confessions or, so that you can be able to. The second is instilling values because you cannot do away with society.
You can't, yeah.
And society will always, not say will always, I feel like it's continuing to get worse and worse because
to get more rotten.
More rottener, if there's anything like that. Yeah, we are starting to accept. I don't want to get into.
Yeah.
We are starting to accept vices and make them look normal and what have you. And that's why we have these discussions with Nadia. And at the end of the day, I believe right and wrong, the truth yesterday will be the truth today and the truth tomorrow. There are some things that are just right and there are some things that are just wrong. Whether it is 1882, 1992, or 2025. And when you have those conversations with your children, instill those values so that they can make their right choices. The rest you leave to God. And then you pray, because I'm that Wangari Maathai believer who during, the day she fought for Uhuru Park and people saying, hey, we utashikwa na Moi. Even though I'm the one person, we are enjoying it because of her. So even though you're the one person who still holds to your values and society is telling you otherwise, it's good enough.
It's good enough.
It's
Wonderful.
good enough. Yeah.
There is nothing else I can possibly add to that. Thank you so much. Those are pearls of wisdom from Mama Celia and Celia. Na mnakwanga waerevu. So our next question, actually our final question of this session, and then we'll move on to Mother's Day messages, is from Temo.
Thank you so much, Washiko, for the opportunity. I'm very delighted. And in the spirit of Happy Mother's Day, I want to say Happy Mothers to my mom. So in the same spirit, I'm just curious to know, from a mother's perspective, maybe Mama Celia and Mama Nadia can tell us, from a mother's perspective, what are some of your fears or the experiences you have, especially raising a teenage daughter, and you're a woman who's already been through it. So how did you look at it? What are some of your troubles in your heart, in your mind, your challenges? I'm just so curious how my mom was looking at me. So just like to hear from mothers your experiences.
Oh, wonderful.
Back to our conversations with Nadia, and then she exposes me to their world.
Yeah.
So I have a pretty good idea what goes on in this generation.
Nadia's face.
But then I get small heart attacks. She just doesn't see them.
Yeah.
Then she's like, Mom, relax, I know. But she's opened me to that world. And obviously I fear, because I'm like, teenagehood is peer pressure. One day she might be like, let me try this thing. And then the next thing, I'm looking at someone who I'm not recognizing anymore. So I always pray and tell myself, Lord, continue giving my daughter wisdom to always make the right decision. Lord, help my daughter hang around the right people. That's why I like knowing her friends. Because peer pressure is real. Me, every wrong decision I made in teenagehood had everything to do with who I was hanging out with. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't choose her friends for her.
Yes.
But she's wise enough to choose good friends. So, yeah, my biggest fear is making those wrong decisions. And now they're exposed to, and now you're going through everything. If you think you don't know, they knew before you thought even they knew.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough, but you pray for your teenagers.
Teenagehood is a time for exploring, and I think most of the time, like what Mama Celia had said, that breach. So many of the poor decisions are made within that particular time, and it's not to say that you will not make those poor decisions, parents. Because you're only human. It is instilling in our children that even after they've made those bad decisions, they can still be able to come back, and we will still embrace them, and we will still tell them, yes, you did make a mistake, but kuteleza sio kuanguka, and you can always turn around and make something out of your life. I think for us growing up, especially millennials, it was very fire and brimstone. This is it. If you do this, this is the end of it. If you do this, this is the end of it. Some of us are complete testament that some of the things that you did in your teenagehood are not going to be at how you're going to end up, So, yeah, it's a part of life. As parents, we are continuously worried. You worry about a world that you do not understand. I'd like to think I'm woke. Until recently, I discovered there's a whole language I don't understand. So that's a new thing I'm afraid of. I can be gossiped in English and it's not English. It's a lot. So let's move on to our Mother's Day messages. Of course, we cannot fail to give an opportunity to our wonderful audience to wish their mothers, to wish their grandmothers, their aunties, and any person who stepped into that particular role. Because I know there are men who are actually going to be wished Happy Mother's Day today. If you stepped in, and you nurtured this child and you got them to where they are right now, then happy Mother's Day to you. I want to start off with Madam Barbara. Barbara, karibu sana.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'd like to wish all the mothers out there happy Mother's Day, including the mothers in front of us. And especially I would like to wish my mother, Mrs. Nancy Wamboi Mudhuki. You've been a mother to me and to all my siblings. Even though at one point I gave you some headache, but all in all, up to date, we have been best friends. You've been my best friend in the ups and downs of life. Thank you so much.
Ashiko, thank you very much. And the panelists, awesome people. I would like to wish all mothers out there a happy Mother's Day, and especially that matriarch seated there. She, from the time that I came into that family, she has loved me, and I have felt it. We might not speak for ages, but then when we do, it's, my son, how are you doing? Mother, I am good. And yeah, thank you. And you have done an awesome job with your daughter, and it has trickled down to your granddaughter. Celia, happy Mother's Day. Awesome job.
So it's actually a little bit, bittersweet to end this show because it's been such a heartwarming show, from the messages between this family to this family over here, all of us together. It's been so heartwarming, and I hope that you can feel it, through your screens about the love that is actually sharing within here. And that was what it was all about. We were talking about motherhood across the ages. And what is very evident today is motherhood is so much more than raising children. Motherhood is nurturing strength. It is inspiring wisdom, and it is also creating lasting memories that can serve our generations for a lifetime. And so thank you so much, mothers, grandmothers, and daughters, for loving us so generously. And thank you for allowing us to carry forward the wisdom. Of course, I would always want to wish my loving mother, everybody knows I completely adore my mother, Agnes Njokinyaga. She is definitely the wind beneath my wings. She's my best friend. She's my everything. I absolutely adore that woman. I love you so much, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. And as always, let's keep this conversation going on all our social media pages. You can reach me directly at Ashiko the host. Drop your Mother's Day messages to your mom, and I'm sure we'll definitely pass them on. You can reach us across all social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 or our Facebook page at Dadas KBC. So on behalf of the production team at KBC, our wonderful location partner Manzoni 680 Hotel, myself Ashiko Mbone, I wish you all a happy Mother's Day. I'll catch you same place, same time next week. But for now, goodbye.